So we finished the resistance training, all the other stuff that we were doing. And now we're back from a little break, a mini break that we had. And we're going to be looking into mass gain. So we're going to start off with nutrition. So we're going to go through the basics basically first, right? We're going to debunk a few myths that people usually have. We're going to make note of a few things that you should be aware of before you actually start your mass gain, right? Because it's very important, I think, because I didn't know these things before I started. Before you even get started thinking about gaining mass, there's a few things you need to know, right? Straight up. Because I wasn't really aware of these things. I didn't pay any attention to it. So one of the things would be, you need to understand that you're going to need a new wardrobe, right? You're going to need to change your clothes, because a month or so after I bought my new clothes for work, I realized that my clothes couldn't fit me anymore, right? Especially when it came to my legs, because my legs, I was working my legs a lot, because I find, that's where most of the energy should go. So yeah, you need to think about that, changing your wardrobe, right? Because you're gonna get bulky. As you slowly increase your caloric intake, you're going to come across two things, right? And for me, it happened, right? So vomiting was one of the problems I had, right? I didn't vomit, I didn't actually throw up, but
the feeling
just the feeling, I got so full, my stomach was so full that the acid started coming up, the gastric acid started coming up in the esophagus, and you just feel like you want to throw up, right? And it causes discomfort. That's just one of the side effects of increasing your caloric intake. But that's why you want to do it as slowly as possible so that your body can adjust, right? I was taking big jumps, basically. But I've now understood how to actually handle it, how to cope with that. And then for some people, they might get indigestion, because you're going to be changing your diet a little bit. And if your body's not accustomed to certain types of food, that's just the way you're going to feel. Your stomach you're going to get you might get bloated from certain foods that you're going to be eating now, as opposed to what you were having before. So like, for example, you might be eating more vegetables now, and vegetables can help you to feel full and so on, right? And some people just don't cope too well with eating certain vegetables, certain fruits, right? So it might not work for them. Okay, so just wanted to point out those three things for you. So indigestion you might come across, you might have the feeling of vomiting, and your clothes won't fit you anymore, right? It's plain and simple. If you was using wearing small shirts before, and you're looking to gain mass, by the time you get up to about medium size, your shirts are going to be tight on you, your legs are going to be growing, your chest is going to be wider, your back's going to be wider. You want to start thinking about changing your clothes. But anyways, that's that. If we're going to be talking about nutrition, that's really the basis. We've had many videos about talking about nutrition, basically. I think a lot of people put nutrition on the back burner, and I think it's just the most important thing. So you want to be paying attention to your intake of nutrients, vitamins, that kind of thing. It's not so much about the emphasis on protein, fats, and carbohydrates. It's not just about that, because you need your essential vitamins and minerals, right, that you get from natural food.
Meal frequency is really about how much you can afford to eat in a day consistently. So I always believe in once you can set a routine and follow it to a T, then that's what you do. Some people eat 3 meals, some people eat 6 meals. From what I've seen, it doesn't have that much of an impact. It's just about how you feel. Because like Tevez was saying about feeling the urge to throw up, you get that a lot in the beginning, but once your body adjusts to just how much you're eating and how slowly you're increasing your meals, it should work out fine. But it's important to break it down to what's comfortable for you, whether that's 3, 4, 5, some people have 1 big meal. I do not recommend that.
Okay, so for me at the moment, what works for me personally is I've been eating 3 main meals. So breakfast is the most essential for me in the day, because you're breaking your fast. You've been fasting overnight. Certain hormones and so on have been working in overdrive. Your body's going through certain processes overnight. So you want to replenish those supplies, especially glycogen and so on, the glycogen stores and so on. You know, you just want to rehydrate the muscles and everything like that. So breakfast is important for that reason. Your lunch is important, very important, right? And your dinner is very important. So you want to at least hit those 3 main meals, right? And if your target is going to be 3,000 calories or 25, let's say 2,500 for starters, right? If you think about it, if you're only hitting 500 calories per meal, you're not gonna make it, because if you work it that out, 5 times 3 is gonna be 1,500, right? So you wanna then think about having some snacks in between, right? So you can do that in any form, or your dinner might just be a bigger one, which might hit you about 1,000 calories, but that still doesn't cut it, because that's only 2,000 calories. So where do you get the extra bits fitted in, right? So for me, I do a breakfast at 900 calories, so I have granola with seeds and nuts and so on in there. So I hit 900 calories. For lunch, I'd be hitting maybe 700 to 800 calories, right? So my meals are usually bigger, so that's what I'm saying, that works for me. And then my dinner is maybe going to be between 700 and 1,000. But yeah, and then I've started now, because I've hit the plateau, I've realized, okay, that's no longer working for me. I need to uptake more food again. So I've understood, okay, I have to look at frequency now, right? So the 3 meals a day might work for you for a period of time. Then just add in a few snacks, shakes, whatever you want to do. So that might be a snack with 100 calories. So you might think about having 3 additional snacks throughout the day, or a shake or whatever, however you decide to do it. That's important to note as well. So that ties in the meal frequency with the caloric intake, right? So you see what we did there. We have a few other videos where we spoke about essential vitamins. We broke them down in terms of increasing your metabolism and so on. And again, everything we do is for a purpose. We always train with a bigger goal in mind, right? So we don't just say, oh, we're gonna look to increase mass. You have to understand why you actually want to do it. Is it for practical reason? Are you looking to become a bodybuilder? These kind of things, right? So we aren't bodybuilders, right? We do it for functionality. So you'd have to understand the importance of exercise at this point. And you need to be aware that Ambo spoke about the consistency. So everything's going to tie in across the board. Consistency in your meal consumption, and consistency in your training as well. We don't want to look to be adding fat, right? You hear a lot of people talk about bulking, but they actually mean bulking in terms of getting fat, right? We don't do that as functional people, because that's not a natural process for the body to go through, to bulk up and then cut back. You might want to do that if you're doing that for athletic purposes, but that's a completely different ball game. I'm guessing you're an average person, right? So we're going to look at how we're going to use exercise to tie into our new mass gaining.
Gaining mass as a normal person is a recomposition. So bodybuilders look to slap on as much mass as possible and then mold it from there. Your normal person is looking to get stronger, gain some muscle, look better, and then with that your body kind of evolves. So you need more food, you feel it yourself, you need to eat, and then everything's in balance. So you're gaining muscle, fat is kept to a minimum, and then let's say if summer does come and you want to cut down, it's not difficult at all, because again, your body feels it naturally. You're going to be eating less because you're not feeling the need to eat as much as you was, because you're not training as hard as you was in terms of the weights you're lifting. You're still training as intense, but just not lifting as heavy.
Now that we've mentioned those things, right? So those were some basics. We have other videos that go into great detail and so on. And we have more videos that are going to go into even greater detail now that we're going to be focusing specifically on mass gain, right? So this is specifically for people who want to gain mass. We have some fat loss videos for those who are looking into that. And I think they both go hand in hand, right? Because one is the opposite of the other, plain and simple. So I have a few basic food types that I eat on a daily basis. And I think Ambrose has a similar diet to what I have, because they're just the most essential, right? So I'll have to go closer to the camera for this. But anyways, I'll show you. So I eat this one. This is a new thing I've been using at the moment. So this is granola, and this gives me, this for example gives me 449 calories per 100 grams, right? And I usually have 200 grams of these stuff in the morning with a scoop of whey protein isolate, and so that's 450 calories per 100 grams. So if we do the maths there, I'm getting 900 calories per meal, right? But it's not easy to get up to that level because the recommended quantity is 45 grams. So you want to start at maybe 100 grams, right? You want to start at 100 grams, so you're getting 450 at that point, and maybe have a smoothie or a shake or something with that, or slice of toast or whatever you want to have before you actually work up to putting down 200 grams of granola. Because when I first tried it, that's when I got the feeling of vomiting. I mean, people have seen me try to put down that and just straight up want to vomit, right? So it's not ideal. I have some natural peanut butter here as well. So this is the Meridian brand, and we eat a shitload of this in the house, right? Yeah. We go through a lot of this stuff. So this is pure. That's why I like it. Basically, the ingredients is roasted peanuts, whole skin on as well. So that's 100% peanuts. There's nothing else in there. There's no additional oil or anything. But you will, once you get this, you'll find that it has a layer of oil, natural oil from the peanuts, which settles at the top. So the stirring process can turn you off a bit, but just bear in mind that's because it's natural stuff. There's no additional sugar or anything like that. There's no salt in there, by the way. There's no sodium in this stuff that you're gonna get from salt anyway. So what should I mention? It has some natural sugars in there, which is what the body needs anyway. You have a lot of fiber in this stuff, peanut from nuts, and your protein is very high because you get 100 in 100 grams of this stuff, you're getting 29.6 grams of protein.
Protein's very high, and you're getting your healthy fats.
Yeah, so some people like to spoon this stuff down, so there's no palm oil in there, there's no sugar, there's no salt additional, right? And what do we have in the next one there? We have some brown rice, yeah? So that's some brown rice that you want to be putting down as well. So everything you're going to be using has to be the good whole grain stuff. No, you try to avoid the processed stuff. So in certain white sugar, white rice, white flour, the white bread, they tend to over-process it or bleach it and things like that. So you're left with only the starchy stuff, which doesn't provide the body enough nutrients because the nutrients are removed, right? So you want to eat your brown sugar, if you're going to have sugar. So you want to take your brown sugar, your brown rice, a whole meal, brown rice, or your whole meal flour, that kind of thing, right? So you want to start drifting away from processed foods and start intaking more natural foods as well. This is what this one is. So this is Kellogg's. There's no added sugar in this one because I try not to take in any additional sugars, right? So I would have some of this stuff. Just good stuff all around. I'm not recommending any specific brands, right? It's just stuff that I tend to use. And I basically do a lot of rice and peas or beans, right, together. So that's how we do it in the Caribbean. That's the Meridian peanut butter if you want to see it closer. All right, you can get these on Amazon, in Sainsbury's, Tesco. You can get it in nearly any shop. So these three you can get in nearly any shop. Right, this one might be a bit harder to find because I usually get this on Ocado. This video is just an introduction really, so we're giving you some of the basics. We have other videos as well, and we have some more coming. We're not sure how many videos we're going to have in the mass building series, but we're going to be going through some exercises that are going to emphasize on mass gain, so you're looking at your compound movements and so on. But at the same time, because we're doing everything functionally, we want to also focus on the smaller groups that are going to strengthen your entire body. You want to start focusing on driving your testosterone levels up
Also
naturally.
building up your foundation, as in your strength to begin with, so that you can do everything you're about to do safely. Remembering that this is kind of a long-term thing. Mass gaining I've always viewed as you need to accept that it's going to be at least a year, which means it's going to be slow and steady. You're going to be gaining strength, your body's going to transform, but it's going to take time. Anyone who's here for like a 1 month fix, that's the completely wrong way to approach this. Gaining mass takes time, and it's about gaining true quality.
Yeah.
So by the time you're done and you want to cut it down, you will actually be proud of what you've achieved.
Yeah, so personally, I never really have to do a cut, right? I did lose the definition in my abs for a bit. I mean, it wasn't as slabbed out as it was before, but I wouldn't say I needed to shed off any mass as per se. All I needed to do was make a fine adjustment in terms of cut back on certain the calorie, basically. I didn't have to make any adjustments to the nutrients because I was getting everything I need anyway. I didn't need to adjust the fats, protein, that kind of stuff. I don't need to focus on these, these adjustments that bodybuilders tend to take.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
I'm not in that way, right? It's just functional stuff. I'm not looking to be as chiseled as possible. But yeah, just long-term stuff. You want to remember we're all doing this for a purpose. We're doing it long-term. Having that connection between the body and the mind, And that's it.
Yeah.
So look out for more coming later on. And yeah, if you like this stuff, you want to find out more, whatever, feel free to ask a question or whatever, right? Up to you. All right, that's it. We're out.